Move.
That's very true.
Guys, Combine Week is finally here. We are taking the show on the road starting tomorrow. Here's a look at the schedule. Friday, the on-field workouts begin with the running backs, offensive line specialists. This is a great chance to take a look at running back Saquon Barkley. A lot of eyes will be on the quarterbacks come Saturday. You can also catch the wideouts and tight ends taking parts in drills that day. Then we got Sunday. It's going to feature the front seven when the D linemen and linebackers hit the field. And then Monday, the defensive backs, they cap off all the on-field workouts. So NFL Live, we will be there for the next few days from Indianapolis. Meantime, we got D'Angelo Williams in the house, and we dug up some video from back in 2006.
It's light.
Take me through this. What are we watching here?
Well, that's me doing 225. I did it 26 times. I'm not a great standardized tester. That's what basically the combine is. You know, you have some guys that come into the combine and they absolutely light it up, but they've been working out for that the entire time, and they're not necessarily translate over to being a football player.
Yeah.
And then there's football players that go to this and they do not stand out at all. I mean, you look back at Tom Brady, arguably one of the best quarterbacks to play the game. You look at him doing his combine training, you're just like, this guy is not going to make it at all. And then you fast forward now, and we're here where we are, and him winning 5 Super Bowls.
Welcome inside the NFL Verizon film room here, where D'Angelo, you have a really good thoughts and reflection from your time there. Field, you've been on the other side of it. You're part of the process of talking to these players, watching them. What are some of your takeaways?
Well, first of all, if you're not a very good standardized test taker, and those were your results, man, I want to be a not very good standardized test taker too. Like, that was pretty dang good. 25, 26 reps on the bench, 35 and a half inch vertical jump. But back to the question, Diana, I think there are a couple of important tenets of the combine that can be said every single year. First of all, this is a piece of the puzzle, okay? Players' draft evaluations are not made or broken based off what will take place between now and next Monday in Indianapolis. This is a fact-finding mission for NFL GMs, head coaches, assistant coaches, etc. And for players, this is an excellent opportunity to treat this like a job interview. Pretend as though every time you see a coach or a GM that you are being interviewed, that you are being evaluated for how you might fit into their roster. It's a great opportunity to show yourself in a litany of ways, not just the physical stuff, but see if you're medically cleared and make sure that when you are in there in an interview, whether it's in the informal or the formal interview process, buttoned up, sharp, ready to work.
All right, so if there are 5 things that we can look forward to in this year's Combine, can you just take us through 5 things that we got to watch?
I mean, you got to start with Saquon Barkley, right? Perhaps the best player in this year's class. We talked about him at length on yesterday's show, but Saquon Barkley, the Penn State running back, kick return special. If that's all he did at the NFL level, he could still be excellent. I want to see his on-field workout. Wouldn't surprise me if he dazzles.
Well, Phil, I want to see him too. I know he can run the ball. I know he can catch the ball, but I want to see if he can protect my quarterback. Because in the National Football League, schematically on defense, they're trying to find ways to attack you. And if they know that they can't attack you through the passing game, well, what we're going to do is to neutralize him getting out of the backfield, is we're going to rush a linebacker and see if he can pick him up. Sure. If he can't, your quarterback going to be on the run the entire time.
Some of that's willingness and some of that is also toughness. And then beyond Saquon Barkley, let's think broad, with a broad brush. You got to look at these quarterbacks, such a coveted quarterback draft class going into the year, and perhaps they didn't necessarily meet expectations, but I guess we'll talk about Vita Vea instead right now. He's the Washington defensive tackle, and this guy, every year I kind of find my dancing bear amongst the defensive linemen.
Yeah.
He is going to be the dancing bear. He is going to test off the charts. I want to see him bench press. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if he hits around 40 reps on the bench press. That dude is a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my favorite is Baker Mayfield, and the reason why my favorite is Baker Mayfield is because, one, he's getting a lot of bad press. They're trying to compare him to other running backs that necessarily didn't have the careers or the career that he needed to have. So he has a lot to prove, and I like his swag when he's on the field. He plays it like a football player first instead of a quarterback, and I like that in him.
Like the kind of guy that other players rally around. Like, if you were in the huddle with Baker Mayfield,
yes,
you'd be ready to go, whether it was fourth quarter Super Bowl or, fourth quarter of a fourth preseason game.
D'Angelo, we were talking about the interview process, and someone like Baker Mayfield, who's been compared to Johnny Manziel, whether or not that's fair or not.
Right.
What kind of questions do you think Baker Mayfield's going to get from different teams? Because there are some concerns out there.
Well, if they're going to compare him to Johnny Manziel, they're going to ask him questions that they would normally should have asked Johnny Manziel when he was coming out. So now he gets those questions now. You know, are you into this? Are you into that? Do you like partying? Which doesn't even translate into him, but because they've painted that brush of him being the next Johnny Manziel, he has to answer those Johnny Manziel related questions, and he's nothing like him. I've seen Baker Mayfield play. I've seen the Heisman Trophy play out of him, playing the big teams that he's played out of there. So I don't understand why he's getting this unfair comparison. Let him be the Baker Mayfield that we come to love in college and give him that opportunity in the NFL.
Well, you seem to really like Baker Mayfield. He's got something to do with one of your guarantees, which we're going to get to coming up.